Welcome to the show. Welcome. My name is Karynn Krill Weinstein. Be sure to vote me in November for president. Karynn Krill Weinstein. Write my name on the ballot and it'll be counted. I'm here for all the people. Everybody. As you can tell, in the past couple months, I started to wear a white hat. This is the hat I wear. Yes, it says Myrtle Beach, and that's where I bought this hat. I'm going to be wearing this hat outside the home, wherever I may go. I'll be easily identified, and I want all the people, no matter where I am, what I'm doing, will be able to recognize me. If I need help and you see me with this hat on, then I ask for you to assist me as needed. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put the hat on now. And this is how I wear the hat. Just like that. So I'm easily recognized. About 3 weeks ago, I have a 96-year-old father-in-law, right? He was in World War II. He fought on an aircraft carrier. He did the radar position. Well, we were at their house a week before he passed, and we sat around his bed where he was sleeping and resting, and my husband, my sister-in-law, and I sat next to him, around him, and he got a good look. We communicated, even though he was deaf. We communicated with him with a little magic marker plate and a magic marker. We could write back. I could write to him and tell him my ideas and thoughts, and that was the case for everybody else. So what we did, and so I communicated with him for the last few months, and it worked out great. Anyway. He was sick. He awakened. He was alert. He could communicate with us. He was coherent. And so we all sat around him, and knowing that we were here for him. We were with you. And we love you. And then we said basically goodbye, because Dave and I, my husband and I, need to go back to Connecticut. So we stayed with him, and he was doing better. We worked together, set him comfortably in his chair, so the three of us made sure he was cleaned and warm and comfortable. But anyway, that was the last time Dave and I saw him alive, which expected. But they had the funeral just the other day, a couple of days ago. So while he was there, he was with my sister-in-law, who is his caretaker for many, many years, was with him. And Brianna, she was a health aide, she was there with my sister-in-law, Laura, and they said they're doing a little work and movement activity, preparing lunch and all. And then they looked over and he stopped breathing. He went peacefully and very calm. He was at peace. He is at peace. And he will continue to be at peace. So what we would have had the nurses come in, hospice nurses, and they helped Aura, and Brianna helped Aura, my sister-in-law, how to go through the process of a funeral home in a week. It's good. So at that time, the man in charge of the funeral home process talked to each of us, my sister-in-law, my two nieces, my husband and I, asked us if we wanted to say a few words. And I didn't hear exactly what they said, but I don't know what it was, but everyone turned their head and looked at me. I said, I'll do it. I'll stand up and say a few words on behalf of my father-in-law. My father-in-law is Herman Weinstein. So I said, yes, I'll do a presentation. My niece, Sonia, did a presentation. And my sister-in-law did a presentation. And it went really well. I really felt good talking to him. Correction. Well, I guess you could say in spirit he was there. Couldn't see him, but it felt energy that he was probably there watching us. Well, anyway, we all spoke. His place of burial is at a war seminary for veterans. And what an experience. We said our goodbyes and all. What an experience it was, a military funeral process. And he had the American flag draped over his casket, and we all said our goodbyes, and they did taps, and they also did the 5-gun salute. They put together, they voted the, I'm touched. It was recent, and I'm sad of his loss. So they did the ceremony, and they did the flag, folding of the flag, and handed it to my sister-in-law. She was the caretaker. It was very difficult for her, and she was always taking care of him for 25 years. Made sure he was fine. He was a war hero. He saved many lives, and many of the men really liked him. So he was quite a popular man when he was in the Navy during World War II. One of the last survivors. As we left there, before we left there, I would like to share with you what I had said about my father-in-law. He was a very special man to me. We had difficulty communicating, but we found a way to talk and interact. This is what I said at the funeral home. He loved us all. He loved us wholeheartedly. He took good care for his grandchildren, Shelby and Sonia, his granddaughters. Shelby and Sonia had fruit waiting for them right after school. He taught Shelby and Sonia as much as he could. He waited for his granddaughter to come home. He was always there for them. Dad used the thesaurus when teaching Shelby. She was the only one. And even at times used the thesaurus for Sonia. He waited for his granddaughters to come home. He was always there for them. Dad used the thesaurus to be used with his teaching of words and thoughts and ideas. Both my nieces are very intelligent people, and I share that. I express that so that my father-in-law gets credit for that, being there and teaching them, making sure they do their homework. He loves us all equally. Oil was his savior. We didn't go out to eat much because he lost his hearing in World War II on the aircraft carrier. He was too uncomfortable to go to a restaurant because he couldn't hear the waitress and he couldn't order, and he felt very uncomfortable. For 25 years we would visit. My sister-in-law made him dinner, and we never went out out to dinner. We stayed in on behalf of my father-in-law, Herman Weinstein. Or, he loves you, and your home care was great. When David and I visit, he was always welcoming us. He would raise his arm, and he would sit in his chair, always, and watch television. He really, really enjoyed himself while watching TV. Every time we could go to visit, he'd be in his chair, raise his arm up, wave to us, and say, "Hello, welcome." Every time we went to the home in Albany, he was right there waiting for us and welcoming us into their home. He says he loves Aura. He says, "Thank you, Aura, for all that you did for me and the family." He says, "Aura, you were a superb caretaker." He loved David always, watching either the Giants or the Yankees together. Dad loved and respected David. He was proud of his son, David. Whenever Dave and I visit the raised high to say hello to us, well, what happened is that one day, this past Monday, was the first time he wasn't going to be in his chair to welcome us into his home. And Dave and I in the car, we realized this. And Dave and I said a prayer. And we took a couple of deep breaths and walked into the house. And his chair is empty. Remember, everybody, he will be missed, but he will never be forgotten. He was very intelligent. He saved many sailors' lives. He loved being in the military. He was a warrior, saving his friends and other sailors. Loved him. All of his comrades all loved him. He died peacefully with my sister-in-law, Aura, and his caretaker, Brianna, were there when he crossed over. And it might sound strange, but when he was resting at the funeral home, he was at peace. And when we went to the ceremony at the cemetery, it was very moving. And I'm proud that I was his daughter-in-law. And when I spoke to Dad, I always told how much I loved my husband, his son, how much, all the good times we have. I go out to dinner and go to different places. I told him always, "You have a beautiful son. I love him dearly." As a result of this, his passing, for once I now feel like I have a family. And they were all good people. And we really bonded. And we connected. And I could say to Aura, I could say, "That's my sister-in-law." My mother-in-law, I could say, Mom. And my father-in-law, I called him Dad. And I call Shelby and Sonia, my nieces. When we were around his chair, we bonded together and became a family. Thank you.